Space Day is on the first Friday of May, a day first created in 1997 by Lockheed Martin. So in that spirit, here are some space facts. Mercury is closer to the Sun, but Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system. Neptune's wind speeds could reach up to 1,600 miles per hour, and the name astronaut harkens back to ancient Greek and literally means star sailor. Welcome to Kaleidoscope, where we are positive, daring and different. On the show today, what it takes to understand Alzheimer's, the state of Sri Lanka and GSP+, and an inspired cook. Kaleidoscope is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe, follow and like us for more. To Srilanka Live, CDB and The Daily Morning, our wonderful partners on the show. Thank you.
She wins with CDB Wings, exclusive financial solutions for women.
Looking back at the week that was, this is CDB Snapshot. Sri Lanka's state revenue grows 18% to 760.7 billion rupees in January and February. Recent studies show that Kumana National Park has a notably high leopard density of 41 per 100 square kilometers. Sri Lanka and Japan aim to strengthen cooperation in terms of defense by tightening security ties. India's state of Sikkim becomes the world's first fully organic state, eliminating pesticides and using bamboo bottles. Chemists in Canada develop a stir stick that can detect if a drink has been spiked very quickly. Ethel Caterham becomes the oldest person in the world at 115 years. A Soviet-era spacecraft that failed to reach Venus is set to crash back to Earth this week. The world's tallest and smallest living dogs meet up for a quick photograph this month.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.
Welcome, this is Srilanka Live News Capsule. Sri Lanka first earned GSP Plus benefits in 2005 by the EU, but it was suspended in 2010 due to human rights concerns. Sri Lanka got it back in 2017 and just received an extension of benefits until end 2027. The country has known GSP Plus benefits for so long, but what would happen without it? This is what the Institute of Policy Studies studied recently and released. Who will suffer the loss? Which gives insights into Sri Lanka's vulnerability in a non-GSP Plus world. Research fellow at IPS, Dr. Asanka Wijesinghe, is on the show today to discuss this. Why is it so important for Sri Lanka to have GSP Plus?
Yeah, about 12% of Sri Lanka's exports go to EU under GSP Plus. The importance is GSP Plus gives us zero tariff preference. That means these products do not need to pay any tariff at the EU. But the MFN rate is very high. For example, let's take a t-shirt. The t-shirt's MFN tariff is about 12%, but under GSP Plus it is zero. So this is a huge tariff preference for Sri Lanka.
What would cause a nation to have its GSP Plus benefits withdrawn?
There are two things. One thing is if a nation consecutively records upper middle income category, upper middle income level for 3 years, then they will lose it. The other criteria is the non-compliance to the ratified 27 conventions.
If Sri Lanka were to lose its GSP Plus, what would happen to our economy given the numbers that you just mentioned?
Our estimates show the exports can go down by about 36%, the exports to the EU. Then this will automatically convert into job vulnerabilities. We estimate that about 70,000 of workers can be affected. These are not job losses, but it is possible wage cuts, kind of job vulnerabilities. The most important part is these are mostly women.
What changes do you foresee if we don't get our GSP Plus? We currently have it up until 2027, but after that? What happens if we don't get it?
Well, if Sri Lanka will be upper middle income country consecutively for 3 years, then Sri Lanka will lose GSP plus. The major solution for that is Sri Lanka should think about getting more market access for alternative markets. One important market is the East Asian countries. However, with the current product set, we cannot go to East Asian market. They are not the buyers of ready-made garment. We need to invent into new products.
What should Sri Lanka's modus operandi be if we are to prepare for a GSP-less world after 2027?
One important step is starting for negotiations for a free trade agreement with the EU. India is already negotiating one. Another thing is, as I said, trying to get market access for other countries like East Asia, and also increasing the quota we have in the Indian market.
And here's what went down with the markets this week. At the Colombo Stock Exchange, the all-share price index remained flat, with average daily turnover levels dropping below 2 billion rupees. Key oil producers led by Saudi Arabia and Russia agreed to raise collective output by 411,000 barrels per day, signaling that OPEC Plus is no longer defending high prices, leading to oil trading at between 60 to 62 US dollars per barrel. Gold prices fell slightly to $3,386 per ounce as optimism over potential US-China trade talks weakened demand for safe haven assets. This time's Met Gala was centered around black dandyism and was themed superfine, tailoring black style. The guests who walked the blue carpet truly shined. Here are some of our favorite looks. Approximately 150,000 people are believed to be living with dementia in Sri Lanka, and a majority of these are said to have Alzheimer's disease. The age-adjusted death rate is 27.62 per 100,000 people, placing Sri Lanka in 14th place globally. Time and time again, we've been told that awareness is what's lacking and is what is needed. The Lanka Alzheimer's Foundation is doing something about this by launching the book titled Malithis Diary, Learning About Dementia. It's in 3 languages, and today we have Director of the Lanka Alzheimer's Foundation, Romany Parakrama, for more on the book and Alzheimer's as well. So tell me, what do we know about Alzheimer's and what don't we know about Alzheimer's?
Well, we do know that Alzheimer's is a degenerative, progressive brain disease. We also know that it gets worse over time, and Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. What we also know is that certain lifestyle factors such as diet, exercise, refraining from excessive smoking, drinking, managing cholesterol, high blood pressure, all of those things can help in the prevention. What we don't know is what triggers the disease, how to stop it, and what the cure is.
What is Malithis Diary all about?
Malithis Diary is a children's book on dementia. It tells the story of a little girl who has to keep a holiday diary and make note of everything that happens in her life during the holidays. And during the course of writing this diary, she notices the changes due to dementia in a much loved grandmother. She learns together with her parents how to respond with patience, kindness, and empathy.
What spurred Lanka Alzheimer's Foundation to actually publish a book like this?
We saw that there was a gap in resources available for children to understand dementia. Now, very often, children see these changes in a grandparent or some elderly person, and it can be very confusing if you don't understand it, and it can also be a little scary. So what we wanted is to have a way of explaining it in a language that they would understand, because another aspect is very often children are the ones who spend the most time with a grandparent or someone who's elderly, so they might see the signs long before a parent who is just caught up in life. So the whole idea was to give parents a resource where they can start having this really important conversation with children in a sort of gentle, age appropriate manner.
What are the important areas this book actually tackles?
It talks about memory loss, it talks about personality changes, it talks about the key aspects that you would see in somebody who is suffering from dementia. But it also talks about the precious memories created with this person before the change. You know, those memories, holding on to that. We wanted to sort of say that yes, with forgetfulness and memory change, the connection changes, but it doesn't end. There is still a connection.
You've done this in 3 languages, English, Sinhalese and Tamil. What was challenging in actually translating it into the languages?
More than translating it is actually writing it. How do you take medical terms, symptoms and put them in a language that's understandable for children? How do you give them examples they can relate to? So once that was cracked, once we sort of had the story, we wrote it from a child's point of view to make it more understandable, then translating it into English and Sinhala became that much simpler. Saying that, still finding the right language was tough, but it was easier.
So what are the biggest no-nos when handling a person with Alzheimer's?
Don't argue. Don't keep correcting them. Don't keep reminding them of things that they have forgotten. Don't rush them or pressurize them. Also at the same time, don't treat them like they are invisible or incapable. You need to use patience and kindness and not try to make them who they were before, but to meet them where they are and then try and find connections and support, give them support.
Romany, so what plans for this book?
So we are trying to, it's sort of a national launch. We want to be available for as many people as possible. So rather than just putting the book out there, what we're doing is island-wide. We're doing discussions, readings, trying to get the conversation going. And there's a project to take it to all parts of the country and then make it available in community libraries and school libraries where people can access it and use it as a tool, and it's just not limited to a few people.
Watching his mother cook inspired a young man to launch a business. Mansas Kitchen is more than just a business, however. It is about heart, soul, passion and dreams.
අපේ අම්මාගෙන්ම ආව එකක් මේක. ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ පරම්පරාවෙන්ම එන එකක්. මම අම්මත් එක්ක දැන් අවුරුදු 10ක් 15ක් වගේ අපි මේ වැඩේ තමයි කරන් හිටියේ. එතකොට පස්සේ යා නැති වුණා. නැති වුණාට පස්සේ ඇත්තටම කරේ නෑ මම අවුරුද්දක දැන් ඇත්තම කතාව කිචන් එකකට ගියවත් නැහැ. පස්සේ ඇත්තටම මම වෙන බිස්නස් එකකුත් කරා. පස්සේ ඒක ඇත්තටම කට්ටියව මේකට හරියන්නේ නැහැ. මට ඒක තමයි හරියන්නේ කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ මගේ වයිෆ්ගේ බලකිරීම මත තමයි ආයෙ පටන් ගත්තේ.
Mansa's mother prepared Sri Lankan food, but Mansa decided to do something different.
මම Mansas Kitchen එකේ මගේම බිරියානි එකක් මේවා කරලා තියෙනවා. මේ වෙනකොට ඒ බිරියානි එක තමයි ගොඩක් අය අතර ෆේමස් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම ස්පෙෂල් මැලේ පිකල් එකක් තියෙනවා, මෝල්ඩි ෆිෂ් එකක් තියෙනවා, වැඩිපුරම කියන්න ඕනේ බීෆ් ෆ්‍රයි එකක් තියෙනවා.
Add a mouth-watering roast chicken and a butler pang for afters and your meal is utterly complete. But that's not all. Mansa will soon be introducing his own biryani masala, and when you order from Mansa's Kitchen, don't be surprised when Mansa himself delivers your order. From cooking to delivery, Mansa wants that personal touch to be the signature hallmark of Mansa's Kitchen. So enjoy some cuisine from Mansa's Kitchen. We'll be back next week.